YouTube, what's up? Happy New Year to y'all. I know the holidays passed. It's been a few days since I've been on YouTube here, made a video, and I just wanted to reach out and say that I love you guys, and I'm so blessed to be able to do this on this platform in 2026. What a honor that is for me. So initially, a thought crossed my mind in making this video, and I just wanted to create a bridge for you guys to be able to cross over to new ideas and new thoughts in your life as we dive into this thing called life and everything that goes into it. So, and that's what we do on this channel. We talk about the good, the bad, the tough, the grind, the spiritual aspects. We talk about individuality, however you say it, being yourself, self-love, self-promotion, non-self-sabotage. You know what I mean? Putting self first. So self-love, all of that. So one thing I realized that's been happening lately is, I'll give you an example. The other day I was looking at the moon, and it was big, it was in the sky, it was up there, you know, in all its glory during the day, and it was like 3:30. Of course, in the winter time, the sun's going down early, and you know, the daylight's just not there. So there's like an hour of daylight that I have between 3:30 and 4:30, and I'm out there, I'm just, you know, it's the weekend, I'm doing my errands and stuff, and I look up at the sky, and I see that huge moon sitting there, and I'm like, you know, I tell my wife, I'm like, wow, you know, that is incredible to be able to see that, to be able to experience how big the moon was. It was just engulfing the sky at that point. I was like, wow, you know, it's so pronounced, so glorious in its state, just as is. Very cool. So I have a point here. That hour had passed, and night had finally come to be. And I look up at the sky. Of course, the moon was on the left-hand side initially, and then I look up on the right, and it's all the way up here, you know, very high up in the sky. It's very, very small at this point, and daylight's gone. So the point here is, the world and things that are happening in the world are happening at a very fast rate of speed. That moon, or rather, whichever way you look at it, the way the earth is moving is happening at a very, very fast rate of speed. But when we just stand there and look at it, it doesn't look like much. But as time passes, we see the moon is in a different position, you know, just like that, within an hour and a half span. So the point here is, as much as we're in seasons of struggle, as much as we focus on trying to get to the positive in our lives, we're also dealing with changes in the world. You know, the world itself is changing. The whole system is changing. It's shifting. We see that. You know, we're on path to try and meet our goals and make things happen in our lives. That's great. You know, we need to continue to do that. But also, like I said, there's this big movement, this big shift that's happening in the world, and we need to acknowledge the fact that that's happening. So let me move on down here. This is perfect. Just trying to find a little spot. So yeah, and it's, you know, it's something we have to pick up on and come to grips with. But essentially what happens is, you know, we're on our way to positivity. We're on our way to better times in our life, while we're in seasons of struggle, right? And what I wanted to remind you of is that, you know, people are focused. You know, let's just use the haters as an example. I don't know, it could be anybody. People around us, you know, our loved ones, the haters, the, you know, the people in charge of the country, you know, the important people, the people we love, us, we're focused on these goals. But the moon over here is changing at such a fast rate of speed that we have to acknowledge that. So, for example, if the world is focused on a financial shift, let's say, if the world is focused on getting the money in the wrong hands, in the hands of the wrong people who are going to create destruction, and it's not going to end up well. If they're so focused on that, if they're so focused on, let's say, a world war, I don't know, I'm just making stuff up, the what ifs, right? Which aren't, you know, we could argue that they're already, you know, as is. But basically the what ifs, right? So if we're so focused on that as a you know, here and now, then basically what's going to happen is there's going to be so much shifting over here that we don't realize on the right hand side. You know, that's huge. That's important. We have to acknowledge the fact that that's happening, because that shift alone can create the difference in the positivity your life needs. You know, that shift can almost promote your growth, promote your goal that you're setting. You have to watch it, because there's so much happening over here that you don't realize. The moon is doing things, and daylight is doing things, the seasons are doing things, the weather is doing things. You know, it's all spiritual, right? If you think about it. But it's I understand that people see, like when it gets cold out, people see that as a negative. They're like, oh, I hate winter, I want to move to a warmer climate, you know, I want to move to Florida, I want to do this, I want to do that. But it's all working out in your favor, actually. You know, I get your car battery die because it's cold as frick out, you know, and I understand you got to put 7 layers on. But if you think about everything as working in your favor, it, you know, something might be happening over here one day, and it doesn't have to be related to the weather, but it's all part of this. You know, what if something happens and it's life-changing? What if the moon and the stars align just right, and your mindset is just right, and your movements that you've made in this past week are just right, that your whole life changes? So it was just a thought that I had. But if it comes to be and it happens for us, then that's great. I love you guys. I'll see you all in the next video. I hope the stars align for you and the shift happens in your life, whatever it is that you need it to be, whatever it is that you want to see happening in your life. So I love you guys, and I'm gonna get some things done today, do some work. So I'll see you all in the next video, and just keep looking to the moon, the stars. Remain spiritually aligned, and all those good things will come to you in time. Love you guys. Peace out.